now calling to order the final meeting of Parliament of Paradise. Welcome to Playing the Field, a Bachelor Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Field, sports anchor at ABC in New York City, coming to you from my hometown of Troy, Michigan, visiting my family here on vacation. Great to catch up with everybody. Always great to catch up with our Bachelor insider, Gina Sirico, out there at KABC in Los Angeles. Hi, Gina.
Hi, I am not on vacation.
You are almost on the red carpet, as it says behind you.
Yes.
One of the busiest women in show business, and we are happy to have her here as always. Jen Matarese, our Bachelor expert.
She's on vacation.
She is on vacation.
On a much-deserved
A well-deserved family vacation. So she's going to join us next week, but we will hear from her later in this podcast. Her and Gina had the pleasure of catching up with former Bachelorette contestant Jason Tartick. The ladies asked him about maybe these rumors swirling he could be a candidate to be the next Bachelor. We also had Leslie Fhima from The Golden Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise. We're going to have that conversation with Leslie here in just a little bit, but I cannot wait to chat with my tag team partner about what we just witnessed in this episode. So much to unpack, and I think we have to start with Sean and the Parliament of Paradise, and it was almost kind of like Carissa and Brian had this whole thing going against Jeremy, and, you know, it kind of blew up in his face, but he ended up surviving in Paradise. Sean was not as fortunate as this entire thing just blew up in his face.
Yeah, and I don't know how he thought that people weren't going to see him scheming with everybody.
Right.
There's cameras everywhere. People are watching. You're having these conversations. Like, what were you thinking? I think even Alicia was like, dude, what are you doing to me here? Like, you're killing. Like, what's happening? You know, it was quite funny to watch. It's like, if you were a real good politician, you wouldn't be, let everyone know you're scheming. I'm just saying.
Well, and it's true. And I guess I understand with him saying, listen, I'm not trying to keep any secrets. I mean, he definitely told everybody what he was thinking at all times. And even when somebody called him out on it, he was like, listen, kind of like when Spencer pulled him aside and he's like, dude, I have not lied to anybody. I'm telling everybody exactly how it is. And I guess it comes down to, his strategy of thinking this was the right call to try to eliminate a certain couple. But at the end of the day, I just didn't understand. At some point, you're almost better off kind of laying in the shadows a little bit as opposed to trying to be out there and be in front and center, which then puts you on the forefront of everybody's mind, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the fact that he was literally going from group to group, and saying, oh, yeah, we should try and get rid of this. And, Justin Spencer, the strongest, we should try and get rid of it. And then, and Brian, Brian and Parisha should go. Like, all of these things and pulling Jeremy and Andrew and Dale, who, of course, are in some of the strongest relationships, to try and be like, yeah, like, we need to get rid of these other stronger people. And they were all kind of like, no. And they kind of, their reactions to it were funny to me because it was kind of like, yeah, sure, little boy, thanks. Now run along. It felt like that a few times where I was like, damn. Like, they really they didn't care. They didn't care about it. And they made him feel like he had a shot, and then he really didn't.
Yeah, Spencer kind of said, part of politics is kind of playing the game and acting like, and just being nice to someone when you really can't wait to, what did he say? Slit his throat was basically what he said.
Something like that.
Yeah. And, they ended up doing just that. So I guess was for me, obviously the big surprise was that they self-eliminated, only to find out that they would have been eliminated anyway. They were trying to save face. I wanted to ask you, what was the bigger surprise, them self-eliminating or Jonathan fondly planning one on Leia after he gave her the rose, or she gave him the rose?
It was the self-elimination. Here's the thing about Jonathan and Leia. They are good friends and they are close, and they do have, there was a moment, I will say, where I really felt for Leia. They were in the pool and they were talking about how, she's like, I'm seeing everybody in their relationships and I'm not seeing that for me. And then while I'm happy for everybody, I'm kind of sad because I really wanted the love. And Jonathan kind of, was there and they were talking about it. And then he said to her basically, like, look, there's something else that we could get here, which is the money. And, maybe we should just kind of like put our efforts to that, which was interesting on that front. All the Sean stuff and them self-eliminating, like, and them talking about, we're going to leave with integrity. And it's like, and then him saying, by the way, like, we got to get into the whole thing, the blow up with him and Kat, with him saying, oh yeah, Kat, when this one ends, don't be calling me. And everyone going, yeah, so much for leaving with integrity, because you just showed like what a jerk you really are on this front. Like, you're not being who you say you are. And that was, like, not cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Sean, I think he was obviously, he felt good because he's defended Kat so much, and they showed some of those conversations in like a flashback format of him defending Kat, and obviously they had previous history. I felt like he felt a little betrayed by her. The fact that she didn't have his back the way that he had hers, and she was like, listen, I didn't ask you to defend me. And then he kind of lost his temper, and he certainly did not handle that very well. And that was kind of like the downward spiral. But I guess I understand where he's coming from, is that he thought he had an ally in Paradise, and she wasn't really who he thought he was. I do think that, I don't know that I trust Dale and his full intentions with Kat. So I can kind of see where he came from with that little zinger, like, don't come calling me when Dale bails on you and this is all said and done.
Well, but also, like, I think that, she called him out and said, look, I feel like you're being shady. And so, which he was being shady. So I get it. So if you're a friend, like, if I'm a friend to somebody, I'm going to tell them when things aren't right, or like they're doing something that I'm like, you know what, this is not good. She was telling him to maybe try and help him a little bit and be like, don't act like a fool and be shady around everybody. And he took it in such a totally different way that he went off on her. And I was ready. Like, I will say I was glad that Dale kind of went up and was defending his girl on that front, so good for you on that. But also, like, Sean was being shady. He should have been called out on it. And for him to go on the defensive, it's kind of like, are you protesting too much?
Don't you think this all started because Alicia said that when she said to Kat, like, you and him are good friends, right? And she made a weird face. So I think once he knew that, I think it kind of, led to everything else. I think if she had said, yeah, Sean, you and I are good friends, and then when he kind of asked her about it, she didn't deny that she said it or made that face and kind of questioned their friendship. And again, I'm not defending what he did, but I guess I can kind of see why he acted the way that he did, at least initially, feeling betrayed by her not saying that they were as close as he thought they were.
Well, I think his outburst was a little much. But again, like, what we've seen from Sean is he has a tendency to make things more than what they are. Like, he was going around saying he and Alicia were one of the strongest couples in the, on the beach.
I loved everybody's faces when they said that.
I don't think, like, what? First of all, because she came in and he was her second choice, and maybe not even a choice had they not gone out on the date, because she wanted Dale. She wanted Dale to pursue her, for all of that time. So it was like, okay, fine. But, and so one may assume, if you're a viewer, that she might have just settled a little bit. And you know what I mean? And from what I'm understanding, I don't know whether it's true. I'm not one to start rumors, but she may actually be, like, they may not be together anymore.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think that they're still together?
I don't think they are. There were some rumors around all of that they are no longer together, and that, like, he may have, like, taken all the photos of her off of Instagram, like, all, it's all that petty stuff of let's erase everything about this whole situation. There was a lot of that going on, not too long ago. But back to the show, like, I think even she was like, why did you say we were the strongest couple? Like, we could have just gone and, like, been okay and left and been done and, like, said our thing. And he kind of did that. So I don't know. Like, I feel like he's going to have some explaining to do. I hope and pray they end up doing a reunion show so that we can.
That would be great.
I'm praying, dear Bachelor in Paradise gods, please, please, please do a reunion show because I would like to be there and watch it.
Give us all the tea.
I need everything.
I'm glad they said on the show that they would have been eliminated anyway. My question to you, Miss Bachelor Insider / expert, is if they wouldn't have been one of the ones that were eliminated and they self-eliminated, do you think they would have kept an extra couple? Or do you think they would have eliminated the two that were going to get eliminated anyway? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they would have done. I mean, I think it just depends on, it depends on production. And I'm not sure what they would have done. Maybe they would have done the next one. Who knows? But it could have interrupted the flow of what's coming, in future episodes. So
Didn't we think that Kathy and Keith were finally going to go home this episode? I really did, and I'm shocked. I thought they would have gone home 2 episodes ago. The fact they've made it this far, to me, is one of the most stunning developments of this season.
Well, here's the thing. I think that, after the whole thing last week with Brian and Jeremy and Bailey and all of that, he was saved. I had a feeling they still had targets on their backs no matter what because of that. Like, they weren't destined to stay for much longer after all of that happened because I don't think it was comfortable for anybody.
Side note, I love that Wells said Keith needs to go because he's basically drinking too much. Yeah, drinking all my foods.
You know what though? Keith is a party guy. Which I love about him. I think it makes him he's hilarious. And so I think that was
I also earned another level of respect for Keith when he was willing to self-eliminate to give one of the other true couples a chance. And I thought that was an interesting part of the strategy here. And Kathy disagreed because she's like, listen, we got $500,000 at stake. We need to do whatever we can. And I don't know. I thought that was the mature thing for him to say, is that maybe we just need to bow out because you and I are just friends. And I thought that was interesting because I was thinking, I wonder if Jonathan and Leia would do that, but they've already made it clear that they're in it to win it for the money. So it's interesting. I really thought that Keith might come to that conclusion, but I don't think maybe Kathy let him. And then in next week, the teaser for next week, we see him talking about him being homesick. So maybe that was all part of his line of thinking there in the moment.
Yeah. I mean, and there was a moment too where Kathy was just like, we're going to just like, I think she's just enjoying the ride, to be honest. I think she's enjoying the, not being the part of the drama.
And she's on vacation in Costa Rica. Who wants to leave?
I wouldn't want to leave.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't want to leave. Definitely not. I feel like, I think, isn't it her? She's like, we're going to see who's in this for love and money, and we're just going to be sitting here with our popcorn and watching the show. It's like, the Oreos. Sorry, it was Oreos. All was eating Oreos. We are all Kathy right now. We are all Kathy with that because we are really trying. We're all really looking to see who's going to be there for love, who's in it for the money, who's going to win the whole thing. And then, and we're just enjoying the benefits of a fun 2 hours every Monday night, to watch.
It has been a great season. And we finally got our first I love yous from Spencer and Jess, and probably the least surprising thing of the season, and I was really
totally shocked.
Yeah. But how about the fact that it came on their quote unquote first date, where you talk about something that we've never seen before, the I love yous on the very first date of their season.
Yeah, it was interesting. And, we'll see, in the teaser for next week, we see they may not have had, they may not be thinking, or on the same page is what they were teasing, what they were hinting at. So, I mean, we'll see on that front too. I will say the challenge this week.
Too confusing, too hard.
Here's the thing. I would be, once I saw that somebody had to be locked in a, I'm out. Just here. Take my rose. I'm done. The claustrophobic me is saying, we're done.
And especially when it's literally 110 degrees, humid as all get up, and you're stuck in a chest, forget about it.
With walkie-talkies that aren't working and trying to figure out, no. Good on them for getting through it. I was having that.
Yes. As Jesse said, getting through the tough times in a relationship and also how important communication is. in any relationship. I'm surprised all the couples made it through without any sort of real blow up. So
Yeah, exactly. It feels like this episode, like the theme song of this episode should have been Billy Joel's A Matter of Trust because they all had to trust each other throughout, all of that crazy challenge. And now they're having to trust each other and like whatever alliances were trying to be formed. Oh, Sean, the politician. Um, like there really is like you really have to be able to at this point really trust your partner in this whole thing, and we'll see where it goes from there. Back to Kathy's, we'll see if love or money wins out in the end.
we shall see. And to your point, maybe there's trouble in paradise, shall we say, with Spencer and Jess, and maybe not being on the same page, and Keith saying that he wants to go home because he's homesick. So a lot to look forward to for next week's episode. But in the meantime, we are happy to welcome in, as promised, one of our favorites from The Golden Bachelor and now Bachelor in Paradise. Leslie Fhima joins us from Minnesota. She's in the, is that a Pilates studio? Hi, how are you, Leslie? Nice to see you.
I'm good, Ryan. I'm very good. First of all, it's summer in Minnesota, so it's amazing. This is our time of year. So I'm enjoying the weather and enjoying being outside and all that stuff. And as you can see, I'm at Lifetime. I literally just got done teaching a Pilates class. So we are in the studio, and I've been spending a lot of time in here because I've been teaching a lot. So everything's great.
As someone who takes Pilates, we will dive into that later in this conversation. I can promise you. But let's get down to the good stuff. You were on The Golden Bachelor. How did this experience in Bachelor in Paradise compare to being on that show?
I'm not saying Golden Bachelor was bad, but I'm saying Bachelor in Paradise was amazing. It was just a completely different thing for me. I enjoyed every second of it. I didn't walk away heartbroken, or I didn't cry. And I don't know. I made so many good friends. I literally feel like I came home with all these young people as my friends, and I literally talk to them or text them daily. I just adore them. So I'm very happy. I mean, it was cut short, but I'm happy for the time I had.
You know what's funny, Leslie, is we're seeing this. I love the fact that you guys are all so close, especially with the young ones. What I had really been hoping to see during this whole season was on camera, you guys, we see all these TikToks and all these things that, are promoting the show, but I really wanted to see those interactions. I really wanted to see more of that, like, of you guys mixing and having talks. And did it happen? Were you guys like talking about relationships that were feeling it off that?
Yes, very much so. I had many conversations, probably mostly with Teresa. And right off the bat, I got there and she pulled me aside. And she's just, first of all, I love all these girls like daughters. I see my daughter in all of them. And I see all of them and my daughter. So it was just like I had that maternal thing with them also, but a friend thing. So we did have lots of conversations. And I was kind of like, oh, I wish they would have shown. I had a really good conversation with Teresa. I felt like I gave her really good advice. And I was hoping that was going to be shown, but it wasn't. Yeah.
Did you guys feel, and I was going to ask you about the maternal side of things, and you kind of took my question before I could even ask it. But did you feel a certain type of, not pressure, but was it a different experience for you because you're there trying to find love, but also because some of the youngins, let's call them, were leaning on you guys for relationship advice, and after all the experience that you've been through?
Yeah, I felt like for me, it was more about being with them. Like, of course, I wanted to find love, but I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to, and I even said this like the night that Gary and I were announced on Grant's finale. I said I'm hoping to make new friendships and obviously be with my girls, and that was amazing. But I just really felt like I was there for that. I felt like I was there for that reason. And also because I do get a lot of young people coming up to me all the time and saying, I was just with a whole bunch of 23-year-olds from Michigan. They had a little reunion and they invited me because I know the girl's father, and they invited me, and they're like, you make growing old be okay. Like, they, you know what I'm saying? They're like, I want to be like you when I get older, or whatever, how do you do it? What's your secret? But so I felt like, I relate to young people like that. And I was just happy to be around them. I really was. They really, I woke up every morning going, oh, I can't wait to see them, just love them.
It feels like, yeah, there was so much. Well, we'll start with this. When you guys were announced, when you and Gary were announced, it was just, for me, I was like, yes, I want them to be there. I want them to find love, maybe find love with each other. It was one of those things. And like, I think even from then, you guys sort of set the tone on the Golden side of like, we're going to go in and we're going to dance through this and we are going to have so much fun.
Yeah.
And ultimately, when you came out of that experience, yes, are you in love? Probably not. But you know what I mean? But it does feel like you have this great experience. Talk about, like, kind of sum it up for us. Like, did it help you sort of now maybe see more of what you're looking for? Did that help you in that way? Like, in the real world, when
In the real world.
real world.
Yeah. Gina, I felt like I knew what I was looking for after the Golden Bachelor. I really did. Like, after I got over the heartbreak and all that stuff, I knew exactly like who I am, what I wanted, what I'm not going to settle for, what I'm going to maybe be okay with that maybe in the past I haven't been. And an experience like this kind of magnified that for me as well. But for me, it was more, I don't know. I just went in there with such a different mindset. I mean, first of all, it's like you don't know what you don't know. So going into the Golden Bachelor, I didn't know. I mean, of course, I watch a show, but it's not the same when you're there. Now you kind of have a little bit, more of an idea of what's going on and how it works a little bit, even though it's a completely different show. So I don't know. I felt so much more comfortable. And because I felt comfortable, I felt like I could really be truly myself. And I wanted like everyone to see who I really am, because I felt like sometimes on the Golden Bachelor, I wasn't that person. I don't cry all the time. I don't, I'm really strong and one of the strongest persons I know, to be honest. So, I wanted just to show my personality.
And you did a great job of that. And I think that's why you have been one of our favorite people in Bachelor Nation. You're so easy to root for, so likable. And we were rooting for you and Gary as your relationship got started. Kind of take us back to the beginning. Did you feel a romantic connection? Did a romantic connection develop after you had a great date where you guys went dancing? Did it start to develop? And do you see yourself having a romantic connection maybe in the future now with Gary?
Well, first of all, I didn't know anything about Gary until that, except for what I saw on the show, Golden Bachelorette. And we met in the green room at grand finale. And so I didn't know him. And we've never talked after that. I think maybe we texted once or DM'd each other. Oh my God, we're 2 weeks away, can't wait, to get to Paradise. But that was it. And then he came like 2 days later, then I was there. And, I guess he's just larger than life. And we do have like our love of dancing and music. And that, for me, that's a big bond. I'm always looking for somebody that loves music like I do. And, obviously when you find a guy that wants to dance, I mean, hello, that's a good thing for me. I mean, I don't find that very often. Surname written all over it. And so, and then when he asked me out on the date, I didn't know he was going to, I mean, he had a bevy of women that he could have taken out, but I was so happy. And we literally did not stop smiling and laughing the whole time. So we had such a wonderful, connection, and I felt like we had a really good connection. And, is it romantic? It's a very strong friendship that I cherish, and I don't know if it's going to be romantic, but we did go to Tahoe for iHeartRadio, and we got to spend some really good quality time together and really kind of delve into other things that we didn't get a chance to talk about. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just know that he's always there for me. I could pick up the phone any minute of the day and he would answer and helps me. Sometimes he talks me off the cliff if I'm upset about something. He's just very good with his words and he knows me. So that's all I can say about that, I guess.
You know, best friendships can turn into romance, and that's never a bad thing. It's probably the best way. It's
Yeah, especially at my age or our age, Gary and I, like friendships for me is really important because I want to be with my best friend, romantically. I want that person to be my best friend too. So I don't know, I guess we'll see. That's all I can say. I don't know.
No, I think that's great. One of the things I noticed, I spoke with Wells a few weeks ago, and he told me that, there was like the approach to this season was a little bit different in that it's like they were all kind of a little bit more hands off and things were happening a little bit more organically. Is there something that you can tell us maybe that we didn't see that kind of happened that you want to get out there that you want to talk about? Like during that time? It was our fun memory.
Well, yeah, I think the best memory, and they didn't show it, and I don't know why, but I was out there working out with those guys every morning, doing my push-ups, doing my Pilates, and Gary's sitting in the chair drinking coffee watching me. Yeah. And Kathy and I would walk on the beach every morning and we'd run, walk. And I said to her the other day, I'm like, why wouldn't they show us doing that? I mean, that is, for people watching, it'd be like, yes, we're maybe older, but we're still, listen, we have the view of the ocean and the view of Dale and everyone else working out. It was perfect for me.
Well, anybody that knows you is not surprised by that in the least bit. You're so young at heart in a weird way, and I don't know how this is going to come off, but is it weird kind of classifying you with the Goldens? I almost feel like you're a notch below that. Is that fair to say?
Oh my God. I don't know. I'm not. Listen, I wasn't the youngest there. I mean, Faith is younger. Natasha's younger, I think. I don't know. April is like around my age. But, I mean, I am young at heart and I don't feel like I'm a senior citizen. I hate that phrase, by the way. But, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I do hang out with younger people. I mean, I hang out with my children. I hang out with their friends. Like, all these girls, I literally could go to a concert with them or a festival and, it wouldn't be weird. So, yeah, I guess it does keep you young,
Yeah.
And I think that I think having younger people in your life keeps you young.
I would also say that like teaching Pilates and dance and all of these things that we keep seeing, also keeps you young. I feel it. My friends and I have always talked about taking a trip to Minneapolis to go and see like the Prince, Paisley Tower and all of that. And I'm like, if I ever do, I'm calling you and being like, I want to come take a class.
No, I can get you to Paisley Park and I can get you to all these things. In fact, my cousin is working on the play Purple Rain that's going to be on Broadway, but it's debuting in Minneapolis in October. And because he was a drummer in Prince's band, The Revolution, he's really working closely with the director. And you should come in October and see it in Minneapolis.
Marking it down on my calendar.
Mark it down.
Right, yeah. Yes, we are definitely going to do that.
Like,
back to Paradise quickly. It felt like a moment, like, especially during one of the rose ceremonies that you and Natasha were in a little bit of a competition for Gary. Like when she did that, I was like, oh, are we going to see a little drama here? But when you saw her do that, how did you feel when you saw that happening?
Well, I really came to love Natasha on this show. The Golden Bachelor, we didn't have enough time together and we were a little bit at odds, whatever. But I really we had conversations and I got to know her and really respect her. And I am not in a place to tell her who she can pick and who she can't. Yes, I had a date with Gary, and of course I was going to give him my rose. But again, she wanted to pick him, and everything was fair game. We didn't know if other guys were going to come on the beach. We didn't know anything. And so I wasn't about to say, well, Natasha, I'm going to give him my rose. I mean, because we didn't know who was going to be called first, and they probably did that on purpose because they knew I was going to give Gary the rose. So let's just call it. Come on. So at first I should have, I felt like in my head, I should have been a little bit more prepared. And now looking back, I probably would have picked somebody else other than Kim, just because I don't know. I just, when you replay things back in your head. So yeah, I don't know I didn't know what to do really. So yeah. And I don't feel like we're in a love triangle because now the ball in Gary's court. Like now he's got to make that choice, and I'm not going to tell him what to do. And then Nancy comes and gives him a date. So I'm like, I was packed. I was ready to go at that rose ceremony. And Kathy's like, "You're packing?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And I said, "Aren't you?" She goes, "No, I know Keith just giving me the rose." I'm like, "Well, of course, yeah." So there he is. I know. I said, it must be nice. I got to pack. So yeah, it was funny.
Well, listen, there's a handful of couples still left. Kathy and Keith are one of them. Do they rank up there as one of your favorite couples in Paradise, even though we could put couples in quotations?
They rank as two of my favorite people on Paradise. How about that?
I like it. Very diplomatic.
Thank you. I mean, I love Kathy to death. I mean, we got a lot closer, and so we definitely have a bond. And I got to know Keith, and Keith is a wonderful guy. I love the guy. He's like I have another friend. As couples go, no. I mean, they're not a couple, but again, friendships are very important. Yeah. So I have other favorite couples from Paradise.
Who are they?
Yeah. Favorites. Well, oh my God, I have so many. I say, can I whittle it down to my three favorite couples?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Jess and Spencer. I love Alex and Andrew together so much because she's a lot like me. She's goofy. She's kind not, I'm not going to call her klutzy, but a little bit like she just does goofy things like I do. So I really saw myself in Alex a lot. She says things and she's like, "Oh, wait, I didn't," like I do that too. So I love them together. Andrew's so amazing. He lives in the same building as my son in Chicago. So that was weird that we found that out. Yeah. And then I love Dale and Kat.
Of those three, who's the pick to win?
Oh, win the money?
Yeah.
Hey, I barely even think about that money. Isn't that funny? Boy, I just say Jess and Spencer.
They do seem to be the strongest.
Yeah, I mean, they are. They were like this from day one. Well, I didn't get their day one, but when we got there, they were, strong. And they are perfect for each other.
Have you been having fun watching it all back and watching their relationships progress now?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I mean, last week, I guess, was the first week that I wasn't on the show. So it was different because I'm like, I don't know. After you leave, you don't know what's going on. Even when you're there, I didn't know half the drama that when I was there. I'm like, what did that happen? But yeah, I mean, it is so much fun. I laughed. I laughed a lot last week. Yeah, Kathy made me laugh, and I laughed a lot. It was good.
Well, we've been enjoying watching this season, and you were obviously a big part of that. We were sad to see you go, but we know you're very much still a huge part of Bachelor Nation. And as promised, we do have to ask you about Pilates. If there's someone who's considering taking a class, I've been doing it for 6 years. I swear by it. What's the biggest selling point you could tell someone about it?
It's just basically, a workout that anyone can do. You don't have to be athletic, and it really helps with other thing that you do, if you're a golfer, if you're a tennis player, it's just because you're really working your core, which is your powerhouse, which you need for everything. And like certain other exercises, you can make it, with the spring, you can make a little lighter if you want, you can make it heavier. It depends if your legs are stronger, weaker, whatever. And you have to find a good instructor. Me. No, I'm just kidding.
We're flying to Minnesota. We're flying to Minnesota to take classes.
You have to find a good Pilates instructor. You have to find a good place. I work at Lifetime, and they just rolled this new class out called CTR, Core Tone Reform. And it's a group fitness Pilates class. So it's really fun. There's 24 people in class. The music's going. It's just so much fun. And I would definitely tell people to, try a small group Pilates, a group fitness class like this, whatever, even one-on-one is really helpful in the beginning. And you get more aware of your body, I think, when you're doing Pilates.
Well, it's been life-changing for me, and I can't recommend it enough. And obviously, I speak for Gina. We can't thank you enough for joining us here today on Playing the Field. One of our favorite guests. It was good to have you back.
I love both of you guys. Back at you. Okay, Gina, call me if you come to Minneapolis.
Leslie, I'm going to. We've been talking about it for I don't know how many years. And so, yeah, if we do it in October, I will definitely be like, hey,
October is the best. Now, Ryan, he travels all over the world, but has he been in Minneapolis?
I've been to Minneapolis, and you can put me on that reformer right over your left shoulder. That one.
You're coming to class.
That's where you can find me. All right, Leslie, be good. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay. Thanks, Leslie. Take care.
Bye, guys. I'm going to bring it back to the show for a minute. Right now, the folks on Bachelor in Paradise are competing for $500,000. So, there is a couple that could go home with this $500,000 right now. What advice would you give to that couple about like what they're going to do with that money, what to do with that money, and how to really talk about it?
Yeah, I think what's cool is I wrote a book called Talk Money to Me, and I surveyed, I think it was around 10 different leads, if they had conversations about money in the fantasy suites just days before they were going to get engaged. And I think of the 10, only one person had one conversation. So of about like 25 or so fantasy suites, there was only one conversation about anything with finances before just days they actually proposed, which is interesting. And now with Paradise, we have this big money pool, $500,000 is on the line. I think it's great because now you're kind of like forcing these conversations, which are really important conversations we should be having anyway. And so for whoever does win it, I think the biggest thing is you can't decide what you're going to do with the money or how you're going to do it or what percentage goes where until you understand everyone's and each individual's relationship with money. Because since day one, like we're very comfortable now talking about our traumas, our tribulations, our exes, what our conflict that we've gone through to create growth. But we still have yet to recognize that our psychology of money goes back to day one. Like what did we see from our parents? How did they earn? How did they spend? What does buying do for us? And so I think what we have to do, especially whenever couple wins, is they got to really sit down and understand the psychology and each relationship they have with money. And then they got to make a play with it. But I'm always going to say, take a little and have fun with it. But the rest of it, you got to invest in an environment like this.
So how closely have you been watching? Are you still deeply rooted in watching the seasons of The Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise?
Yeah, so for my podcast, I cover a lot of it through the business and finance elements of it. So I've been dabbling a little bit, and I'm still tied to the franchise with watching here and there.
Is it something that you would ever dip your toe back into if they called you and said, hey, would you, come lead, be the Bachelor? Is it something you would do?
I always say, like, you never say never. I will say since I don't know, what was it? Probably the last 2 years, there's been like 5 different shows that have approached me to go on, and my desire to go back into reality TV is quite low right now. So never say never, but I would prefer if I was going to go back in, it would be like a competition type show, but you never know.
So maybe not to be the Bachelor, because there's a lot of people out there who want to see you as the next Bachelor.
Are there?
Yes, there's like
That's
articles
news to
about
me.
it. Yes,
Okay,
definitely.
I have seen some people have sent me these articles that are these like rumors, but yeah, I don't know where that stuff all comes from.
Well, you're setting the record straight here, right? It hasn't happened. They haven't asked you, and that may not be a thing.
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it.
Oh gosh.
Fair enough. Let's ask that question though. So now you've got the money part right, obviously. What do you look for in love? We think you might be single right now. Are you? Where do you stand relationship wise in dating?
People want to know.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
The ladies
For me,
want
it's
to
like-
know. The ladies want to know.
I love it. For me, as far as like, okay, let's start with what do I look for. I think what I'm looking for in someone is, I'm looking for like a teammate and a life partner, someone that like through all the crazy challenges will always be by there, not just in their words, but in their actions. And someone who is supportive and looks at life as a team. And I think I've seen that from my parents. So my parents have been married for over 40 years, and it's like truly beautiful to see every year their love for each other grow. Like that to me is the dream. And that's what I'm looking for. And as far as like my dating life right now, I would say in summary, a lot of my dating life, majority since 2018, has been very public. So for right now, like all the nuances, the ins and outs, I'm pretty much keeping private unless I come into like a conundrum, which happens often, and I'll go on my Instagram and just be like, all right, I got this scenario that just happened on a date. How do you proceed? But other than that, I'm kind of keeping it a little private.
Well, this is sort of like, not to sound like a creeper, but I'm from Buffalo originally. So I've always been like a fan of yours, being that you're from there as well. And
let's go.
I saw you at Hatch in Huntington, New York last year. You were with your friends John and an ex-girlfriend. And you guys were so funny because I was sitting there with my family, and you know, as people do, sometimes there's jokes and there might be an F-bomb or two, and one of you guys was like, wait, be quiet, there's little children over there, and those were my little children. And we didn't mind.
I am first of all, I'm sorry.
No,
Second of all,
don't.
when you put John, Alex, and Kat and I in a room together, there's a lot of fun would ensue. And I can only say unbelievable things about all three of those people. They're all so great. And my apologies a year later for us having a little too much fun by you guys. But you know how Buffalonians roll, like, you know?
Yeah,
if
no.
we're doing it, we're doing it.
It is all good. I'm so excited for the next upcoming season of the Bills.
There you go. Oh, this is
Oh
gonna
my
be a
gosh,
good
it's
one.
going to be a great
You watch
football
Hard
season.
Knocks?
Yes. So I didn't finish episode 1 yet. I'm almost through.
Okay.
I had to turn it
love
off to go do something, but I am loving it.
Good stuff. Go Bills. Let's go.
Woo, go Bills. Gina, any other
Gina,
As a
questions?
Dolphins fan, as a Dolphins fan, I will just say I kind of envy the fact that you have something to look forward to with the Bills. I just really,
Squish the fish.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
You know
what's
what,
going to
though?
happen
It's
with my
like-
football team.
You're right, but it always, talking about dating and all that stuff, it always ends in heartbreak. I mean, we're the 36 years straight, always heartbreak. So we'll see what happens. Maybe 1 year, right? One year, Gina.
You know, it would be great to see
look,
another
we can only
Super
hope.
Bowl.
That's right. That's right.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Well, we are
I'm not
wishing
looking forward
you
to hockey season.
the best of luck. And I really do think you'd make a great bachelor. So, you know, maybe put that in the forefront of your brain. People would love to see it. And maybe some wonderful ladies would join the season. You could meet your future wife.
That was my mom was joking around. She said, "Bachelor, you're 36. You could be." They have a golden bachelor. Maybe they have a silver bachelor. I thought that was pretty funny. But no, that's sweet of you to say. And it was fun. It was fun to be on this. This was great.
Oh, well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. It was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, and go Bills.
Bills.
Thanks. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jason. Take care.
That was Mr. Jason Tartick. Interesting conversation. Gina, what was your biggest takeaway?
I think it's interesting that he this question. Yeah, he was interested about the rumors about him being the Bachelor. I don't know. I think, it could be interesting for them to go back to somebody from, a previous season. But I also think, the people on this show right now, on Paradise right now, should kind of heed his advice on how to handle the money aspect right now. So thanks, Jason.
Absolutely. We shall see how it all unfolds. The best is yet to come. The most dramatic Bachelor in Paradise season ever. And we can't wait to talk about it with you on our favorite podcast. Gina, thanks so much for being here. Jen is back next week.
Yes.
And if you like our podcast, like and follow. She's Gina. I'm Ryan. This is Playing the Field. We'll see you next time.